Hi student teachers. Now this is going to be a short video on the certification standards that we're going to use for your student teaching semester in the spring of 2014. And this is the rubric that we're going to use. It's still technically a work in progress at USM, but we'll be using it here at LAC. First of all, the website that you could use for your portfolio is Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y, you can see it up here, .com. And it can just start you on your portfolio. And if some of you remember Sarah Willett from last year, who graduated this past spring, she used this site for her portfolio. And so this is an opening page, and it just tells a little bit about Sarah. And then you can learn more, and you can go find her resume and so on. Now, to go to these sites here, she has it password protected, and she let me have it, so it's MEESHA, Misha, MEESHA. You can go there and look at it. So she's got this. This is in case when she's applying for a job, people can look at the resume, and people can look at her teaching philosophy, which is important to have up here as well. And these are what I'm going to talk about here, the learning standards. And the learning standards, of course, there are 10 of them. So, for instance, she has put all of them here. So if we look at standard 5, she has artifacts to support these things as to what she's done in her classrooms. It's time for you to start taking pictures, time for you to start scanning materials so you can put this, and I want a lot here, okay? That was one of the things that Sarah was testing this, and I would say that this is what you can start with, but you should have more, because as we get to be more state certified, we want to prove that our students are reaching all the standards. Now, I'm going to send you this sheet with the standards. And this is the basic rubric. It starts with limited knowledge, sporadic application, consistent application, differentiated application. So those are the definitions and the directions. So there's one standard. So here are the standards. Standard 1 is learner development. So this tells you what learner development means all the way over here. Okay? And these are, if you only had a 1, that's because you had limited knowledge and of how to do this thing. Basic knowledge here, proficient here, and distinguished. We're looking for these from you. I expect that from each of you. Standard 2 is learning differences, okay, differentiation. What do you do? And this is what you're doing in the classroom now because you're student teaching. So you're going to be giving some examples here for Standard 2. And then you can also write standard 1 and 2 comments here. We can write that good job, bad job, whatever needs work. We will be looking at this throughout the semester, specifically at midterm time and at finals time. And hopefully by finals time you have it, because you can't finish the program if you have some needs more work. Standard 3, learning environments. Okay, that's another standard that the state, by the way, this is called InTASC standards right here, InTASC. Okay, it's actually lowercase I. It's lowercase n, and then it goes InTASC. You don't have to worry about that, but that's what the state's using. So learning environments, and here are some of the things that you should be doing. So you can look at these and see what you can put for your artifacts in your portfolio. Standard 4 is content knowledge. Okay, how do you know your stuff? So if you're in secondary, how do you know your science, your social studies, your English? If you're in elementary, how do you know everything? Standard 5 is application of content, so it tells you how to put it into practice. Standard 6 is assessment. How do you evaluate the student's work? And this is a big one to put on assessment, because then you could show either the test or the evaluation going back to standard. Let's look at standard 6 for assessment. For this is what she did. She taught science, so she had a biology test that she wrote. I personally am not crazy about multiple choice, but again, if she's in a classroom that has to use that, that's the limitations, but we hope that you don't use that. She has a grading rubric for her cell project, and she has some examples here of student work, okay, in journals and so on. So that's great. So it took a lot of pictures. It's very easy to take pictures and just put them online now. So this is what you can do. So that's an example of Sarah's work, as well as what she reached for Standard 6 assessment. Standard 7 is planning for instruction. You're writing units, writing lesson plans, and so on. So how do you do this? And then standard 8 is instructional strategies. That's the pedagogy. What do you do in the classroom? And then standard 9 is right here. Standard 9 is professional learning and ethical practice. And standard 10 is leadership and collaboration. How you work with your mentor teacher, how do you work with the principal. The student teaching semester is very important. All of these have to be addressed, and they have to be addressed at high levels. I'm expecting 3s and mostly 4s from each of you, so be distinguished. You are distinguished people anyway, so show off. This is what you got to do in your portfolio, by the way. You can't be shy. You got to show off, all right? Because there's going to be, if you're going to send this along with your portfolio or job application, then you want to make sure that the person reading this will be able to get all the information he or she needs. So you can even see that she has a letter of recommendation from the person that she worked with. Okay, and then she has the person that she did the internship with, Brandy, and then some guy over here that was her advisor. Was also part of it. And we have another one here that does in science and so on, natural and applied sciences. I wrote that as well. So this gives you an example of how to use a teaching portfolio and use this rubric here for your certification standards. Hope that it better help, so I'll talk to you later.